The last line of defense. The vast emptiness of space stretched endlessly around Outpost Thera, the small human colony orbiting the gas giant Juno 7. The colony's lights twinkled against the darkness, oblivious to the impending doom lurking just beyond the system's edge. Commander Maya Chen sat alone in the cockpit of her Wraith-class starfighter, the Nemesis, watching the small blue dot that represented her home slowly recede on her nav screen. Maya's dark eyes reflected the glow of the instrument panel as she performed one final systems check. Her short black hair was still damp with sweat from rushing to the hangar after the proximity alarms had sounded. The Valkyrie fleet had arrived far sooner than anyone had anticipated. A massive invasion force of over 200 warships moving silently through the void toward the defenseless human colony. Outpost Thera Control to Nemesis. A voice crackled through her comms. Commander Chen, all evacuation ships have launched. ETA to hyperspace window, 17 minutes. Maya nodded, though there was no one to see the gesture. Copy that, Control. I'll make sure they get that time. Maya. The voice dropped formality. It was Director Quan, her old mentor. This is suicide. The Nemesis is just a prototype. You can still turn back and catch the last transport. A smile ghosted across Maya's face. You and I both know that's not an option. Sir, those transports need time to reach safe jump distance. Besides, this prototype is the only chance we've got. Silence hung heavy between them for several seconds. It's been an honor, Maya. Likewise, sir. Chen out. As the communication ended, Maya's attention shifted to the tactical display where a swarm of red dots was steadily advancing. The Valkyrie, a crystalline species from a distant star system, had emerged in human space 6 months ago, destroying everything in their path. Their technology vastly outmatched humanity's, their weapons capable of reducing planets to molten slag. No diplomatic efforts had succeeded. The Valkyrie seemed driven by some incomprehensible purpose, communicating only through violence. Maya's fighter was humanity's last desperate gambit, a ship unlike any other constructed in secret using reverse-engineered Valkyrie technology. While conventional human warships were little more than target practice for the aliens, the Nemesis incorporated something unique, an experimental quantum fabrication system dubbed Prometheus. Time to see what you can do, Maya whispered, patting the console affectionately. The Nemesis glided forward, its sleek black hull absorbing, rather than reflecting light, making it appear as little more than a shadow against the stars. Maya accelerated toward the approaching Armada, the ship's revolutionary propulsion system, utterly silent in the vacuum. According to her instruments, the Valkyrie fleet consisted of 214 ships of various classes, from quick, agile fighters to massive dreadnoughts bristling with weapons. And she was going to face them alone. Nemesis system check complete, announced the ship's AI in a calm female voice. All systems nominal. Prometheus matrix online and ready for implementation. Thank you, Athena, Maya replied. Begin threat assessment and compile preliminary adaptation protocols. Working. The AI paused momentarily. Valkyrie fleet configuration analyzed. Their formation suggests they are not expecting significant resistance. Maya allowed herself a grim smile. Let's surprise them. Then, the distance closed rapidly. On her view screen, she could now make out the distinctive crystalline structures of Valkyrie ships. Angular vessels that seemed to have been grown rather than built, their hulls refracting light in mesmerizing patterns. Beautiful and deadly. When she was still 15,000 kilometers out, the first Valkyrie picket ships detected her presence. A communication burst hit her comms, a series of high-pitched, musical tones that human linguists had never managed to fully decode. Maya ignored it and continued her approach. The response was immediate. A squadron of smaller Valkyrie vessels broke formation and moved to intercept, their engines flaring bright against the darkness. Streaks of violet energy. The Valkyrie's devastating particle weapons, lanced through space toward the Nemesis. "Evasive maneuvers," Maya ordered calmly. The Nemesis responded instantaneously, twisting and spinning through the void with impossible grace. None of the energy beams connected. Maya's fingers danced across the controls, guiding her ship through the deadly barrage while closing the distance to her attackers. "Prometheus, analyze Valkyrie weapon signatures and begin countermeasure production," she commanded. Inside the ship, the quantum fabrication system hummed to life. Unlike conventional weapons systems limited by ammunition and pre-programmed responses, Prometheus could analyze enemy attacks in real time and rapidly manufacture tailored countermeasures using the ship's matter reserves. "Analysis complete," Athena reported. "Countermeasures ready for deployment." Deploy. From concealed ports along the Nemesis's hull, a cloud of microscopic drones erupted, each one programmed with the exact frequency needed to disrupt the Valkyrie particle beams. The next volley from the alien ships dispersed harmlessly against this defensive screen. The Valkyrie ships adjusted, switching to crystalline projectiles that shattered into thousands of seeking fragments. Maya grinned. They were already being forced to adapt. "Prometheus, offensive measures. Let's show them what we've got." The fabrication system reconfigured, drawing on energy reserves to create something new. The Nemesis shuddered slightly as it launched a series of sleek missiles. Unlike conventional explosives, these contain nanite clusters programmed to target the unique crystalline structure of Valkyrie hulls. The result was devastating. Upon impact, the nanites burrowed into the alien vessels, disrupting their molecular cohesion. 3 Valkyrie ships fractured from within, their beautiful hulls crumbling into glittering debris. Maya had no time to celebrate this small victory. The remainder of the Valkyrie fleet had noticed the skirmish, and dozens more ships were now changing course to engage her. Their formation was tightening, a classic envelopment strategy. "They're trying to box us in, Athena. Let's not let them." The Nemesis accelerated sharply, threading the needle between 2 approaching cruisers before looping back to attack from an unexpected vector. The Valkyrie clearly hadn't anticipated the human vessel's maneuverability. Their coordinated fire continued to miss as Maya executed a series of aerial acrobatics that would have killed any pilot in a conventional craft. For several minutes, the battle continued in this fashion, Maya dancing between energy beams and projectiles, while Prometheus constantly refined both offensive and defensive measures. 5 more Valkyrie ships were destroyed, then 7, then 12. The Nemesis sustained some damage, but nothing critical, its self-healing hull maintaining integrity. Then, abruptly, the Valkyrie attack ceased. The alien ships pulled back, regrouping into a defensive formation. "They're reassessing," Maya murmured. "Athena, what's their communication pattern?" "Increased signal traffic between vessels. My analysis suggests confusion, possibly even concern." Maya allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. The Valkyrie had never encountered meaningful resistance from humans before. This was new territory for them. The respite didn't last long. The alien fleet was reorganizing, and Maya could see their flagship, a massive crystalline structure 3 kilometers long, moving to the front of the formation. Her tactical display lit up with warnings as energy readings from the vessel spiked dramatically. "They're bringing out the big guns," Maya noted. "Athena, time check on evacuation ships. Evacuation fleet will reach safe hyperspace distance in 9 minutes, 43 seconds. Almost halfway there." Maya needed to keep the Valkyrie occupied for just a little longer. She took a deep breath and targeted the flagship. "Prometheus, I need something special for that monster. What have you got?" The A's response was immediate. "Analyzing flagship defenses. Conventional weapons ineffective against crystalline matrix of that density. Recommending phase-shifted quantum torpedoes. Make it happen." As the fabrication system worked, the Valkyrie flagship unleashed its primary weapon. A concentrated beam of energy so intense that it distorted space itself in its path. Maya yanked the controls hard, barely avoiding the devastating attack. The beam continued past her, striking an asteroid in the distance that immediately vaporized. "Quantum torpedoes ready," Athena announced. "Fire." The Nemesis released 3 small projectiles that appeared almost transparent as they phased partially out of normal spacetime. The Valkyrie point defense systems, designed to intercept objects in conventional space, failed to register them. The torpedoes passed directly through the flagship's outer defenses before phasing back into normal spacetime within the ship itself. The resulting explosion was unlike anything Maya had ever seen, a rippling distortion that seemed to fold the massive vessel in upon itself. Secondary explosions cascaded along its length as internal systems failed catastrophically. The Valkyrie flagship didn't explode so much as collapse, its elegant crystalline structure imploding into a dense cluster of debris. Maya had no time to celebrate this significant victory. The remaining Valkyrie ships, seemingly enraged by the destruction of their flagship, surged forward en masse. Her tactical display became a sea of red as over 100 alien vessels targeted the Nemesis simultaneously. Athena, evacuation status. 7 minutes, 12 seconds to safe hyperspace distance. Maya nodded grimly. She needed to hold out just a little longer, but the odds were becoming impossible. The Nemesis was revolutionary, but it wasn't invincible. "All power to Prometheus," she ordered. "Defensive priority." As the Valkyrie fleet closed in, unleashing a barrage that turned space itself into a deadly light show, Maya Chen prepared for what might be her final stand. The Nemesis was humanity's last hope, and she was determined to give the evacuation ships every second she could. The endless void erupted with light and fury as Commander Maya Chen, a single human in a prototype fighter, faced down the might of an alien armada. Impossible victory. Space itself seemed to bend and warp as the full might of the Valkyrie fleet focused on a single target. The Nemesis twisted and spun through the maelstrom of energy beams and crystalline projectiles, its hull occasionally flaring bright where a glancing hit connected. Inside the cockpit, Maya Chen worked with machine-like precision, her hands flying across the controls as sweat beaded on her forehead. "Hull integrity at 82%, Athena reported calmly. "Prometheus operating at maximum capacity." Maya didn't respond immediately, too focused on threading her ship through an impossible gap between converging attack vectors. A violet beam grazed the Nemesis's starboard wing, sending a shudder through the frame. "We need to thin their numbers," she finally said. "We can't keep playing defense. Prometheus, I need an area effect weapon. Something that can hit multiple targets simultaneously." The quantum fabrication system hummed as it processed the request, drawing on its vast database of theoretical weapons designs and the real-time battle data it had been collecting. "Gravitational disruptor ready for deployment," Athena announced. "Warning: significant energy drain will result. Recommend conservative use. Deploy on my mark." Maya watched her tactical display, waiting as a cluster of 20 Valkyrie fighters moved into tight formation for a coordinated attack run. Mark. A sphere of distorted space erupted from the Nemesis, expanding outward at tremendous speed. As it passed through the formation of Valkyrie ships, localized gravitational fields increased exponentially, crushing the crystalline vessels as though they were caught in the grip of a neutron star. In seconds, the entire squadron was reduced to glittering dust. The remaining Valkyrie ships paused their attack, seemingly stunned by the display of power from the lone human vessel. Maya used the momentary respite to check on the evacuation status. "Athena, time to safe hyperspace distance. 5 minutes, 38 seconds. Still too long." Maya needed to do more than just survive. She needed to actively distract the Valkyrie, to make them focus all their attention on her rather than the fleeing colony ships. It was time to take the battle to the enemy. "Prometheus, prepare for maximum offensive configuration. I want everything we've got." "Warning," Athena replied. "Maximum offensive configuration will compromise defensive capabilities by approximately 47%. Acknowledged." Do it anyway. The Nemesis shuddered as its internal systems reconfigured. The quantum fabrication matrix shifted resources from defense to offense, preparing a suite of weapons designed specifically to exploit weaknesses in Valkyrie technology that Prometheus had identified during the battle. Maya took a deep breath and aimed her ship directly at the heart of the alien fleet. The Nemesis accelerated to attack speed, its engines pushing beyond recommended tolerances. She was no longer evading, she was charging. The Valkyrie responded with renewed fury, their ships moving to intercept. Energy weapons lashed out, crystalline missiles launched. Maya dodged what she could, but no longer prioritized perfect evasion. The Nemesis took hits, its hull absorbing damage as Prometheus worked frantically to maintain integrity. Hull at 65%. Athena warned. Maya ignored the warning. She was within optimal range now. Fire everything. The Nemesis unleashed its arsenal. Phase-shifted torpedoes, nanite clusters, gravity bombs, and weapons that had no name because they had been conceived and created by Prometheus during the battle itself. Each projectile targeted a specific weakness in Valkyrie design that the AI had identified through meticulous analysis. The effect was catastrophic for the alien fleet. Ships exploded in cascading chains as weapons found their marks. Some vessels simply ceased to function, their crystalline structures going dark before drifting lifelessly. Others shattered from within as nanites compromised their molecular cohesion. In the span of 30 seconds, 27 Valkyrie ships were destroyed or disabled. The alien fleet's reaction was immediate and unexpected. Rather than continuing their attack, they began to withdraw, pulling back to regroup at a safer distance. The tactical display showed their formation shifting, becoming more defensive. "They're afraid," Maya whispered, almost unable to believe it. "Athena, are you seeing this?" Affirmative. Valkyrie fleet is executing a tactical retreat. Their communication patterns suggest confusion and possibly fear. It was unprecedented. In all previous encounters, the Valkyrie had shown no concern for losses, no hesitation in the face of resistance. They had always pressed forward with cold, calculating efficiency until their objectives were achieved. But now, confronted with a single human ship that could actually hurt them, they were pulling back. Maya saw an opportunity. "Athena, open a communication channel. Broadcast on all frequencies the Valkyrie have used." Channel open. Maya cleared her throat. "Valkyrie fleet, this is Commander Maya Chen of the Earth Alliance vessel Nemesis. You have entered human space uninvited and attacked our colonies without provocation. We have demonstrated our ability to destroy your ships. Withdraw now, or face total annihilation." She had no idea if they could understand her words, but the message was clear enough: leave or die. For several long moments, there was no response. The Valkyrie fleet remained in its defensive formation, neither advancing nor retreating further. Then suddenly, a burst of those familiar musical tones came through her comms. But this time, they were followed by something new. "Human vessel," a synthetic voice translated. "Your resistance is unexpected." Maya's eyes widened. It was the first time the Valkyrie had ever responded to human communication attempts. "Your species was catalogued as technologically inferior," the voice continued. "This assessment requires revision." "We are full of surprises," Maya replied coolly. "This ship is just the first of many. Our fleet will be here soon." It was a bluff, of course. There was no fleet coming, but the Valkyrie had no way of knowing that. Another pause then. "We will analyze this encounter. Future interactions will be reconsidered." The communication cut off abruptly. On her tactical display, Maya watched as the Valkyrie ships began to move away, accelerating toward the system's edge. "Athena, are they leaving?" Affirmative. "Valkyrie fleet is withdrawing from the system. Their trajectory indicates preparation for hyperspace jump." Maya could hardly believe it. A single human ship had driven off an entire invasion fleet, but her mission wasn't complete yet. "Evacuation status." Evacuation ships will reach safe hyperspace distance in 2 minutes, 17 seconds. Let's make sure they get there safely. Maya kept the Nemesis positioned between the retreating Valkyrie and the escaping colony ships, ready to re-engage if the aliens changed their minds. But the Valkyrie continued their withdrawal. One by one, their ships disappeared into hyperspace until only 3 remained, larger vessels that appeared to be command ships. Just as these final ships prepared to jump, another communication came through. "Human Commander," the synthetic voice said, "your species has earned recognition. We withdraw to reconsider, but we will return." Before Maya could respond, the remaining Valkyrie ships vanished into hyperspace, leaving nothing but scattered debris to mark their presence. For several minutes, Maya sat in stunned silence, her hands still gripping the controls tightly. Only when Athena announced that the evacuation ships had successfully entered hyperspace did she finally relax, slumping back in her seat. "We did it," she whispered. "We actually did it." "Congratulations, Commander," Athena replied. "Mission successful. Recommend returning to rendezvous coordinates to join evacuation fleet." Maya nodded absently, her mind still processing what had just occurred. The Nemesis had done more than just buy time for the evacuation. It had changed everything. For the first time since the Valkyrie appeared, humanity had won a significant victory. More importantly, they had forced the aliens to communicate, to recognize humans as worthy of acknowledgement. As she set course for the rendezvous point, Maya couldn't help but smile. The Valkyrie would return, as they had promised. But next time, humanity would be ready. The data gathered by Prometheus during this battle would be invaluable in developing new defenses and weapons. The Nemesis had proven that the Valkyrie weren't invincible. They could be fought, they could be beaten, and they could be made to listen. 6 weeks later, Maya stood at attention in the command center of Arcturus Station, the largest remaining human military installation. Around her, high-ranking officers from all branches of the Earth Alliance Defense Force listened intently as Admiral Harrison described the battle at Outpost Thera. Commander Chen's actions not only saved over 15,000 colonists, the Admiral said, but provided us with crucial intelligence on Valkyrie technology and tactics. For the first time, we have a fighting chance. On the main view screen, technical schematics for a new class of warship appeared, vessels based on the Nemesis prototype, each equipped with its own quantum fabrication system. The Valkyrie thought they understood humanity. Admiral Harrison continued. They thought we were technologically inferior, easy prey. Commander Chen taught them otherwise. One ship, one human, changed the course of this war. Maya maintained her composure, but inside she felt a surge of pride. The Nemesis had been designed as a last desperate gamble, but it had become the template for humanity's resistance. Already, reconnaissance reports indicated that the Valkyrie were approaching human space differently, cautiously, carefully, no longer with the casual arrogance of an unstoppable force. The Valkyrie told Commander Chen they would return. Admiral Harrison concluded. When they do, we'll be waiting for them. Not with one ship, but with hundreds. Not with one brave commander, but with an entire fleet. They thought they knew humanity's measure. They were wrong. As the briefing concluded and the officers filed out, Admiral Harrison approached Maya privately. "The first squadron of Nemesis-class vessels will be ready within the month," he said quietly. "I want you to lead them." Maya nodded, determination hardening her features. "It would be my honor, sir." "The Valkyrie have never encountered anything like humanity before," the Admiral continued. "They don't understand what they've awakened. They don't understand that humans at their most dangerous when backed into a corner." "No, sir, they don't," Maya agreed. "But they're going to learn." As she left the command center, Maya's thoughts returned to that moment in space. One ship against hundreds, a single human defying an alien armada. The Valkyrie had promised to return, and when they did, they would find not just a lone defender but a united species ready to fight for its existence. Commander Maya Chen had shown what one human could do against impossible odds. Now the Valkyrie would discover what humanity as a whole was capable of when pushed to the edge of extinction. They had awakened something they couldn't comprehend, the indomitable human spirit that refused to surrender, that found ways to overcome any challenge, that evolved and adapted faster than any species they had encountered before. The next time the Valkyrie entered human space, they wouldn't face one fighter. They would face humanity united, prepared and determined to survive. And that was a force that no alien fleet, no matter how advanced, could hope to defeat.